Hey everybody! Today's math video is going to be relatively short. We're not going to be covering any new ground today. We're just going to review back and maybe look forward to that test and some of the things you're going to be asked to do today on your own. So the first couple things I'm going to ask you to do is to think about non-standard units. So standard is when we all use the same thing. We all use that same ruler to measure something. There are some definite advantages when everyone uses the same units because it's nice to communicate with each other and to share those measurements and have them be the same. It's a little easier sometimes though to measure with what you have. So the first couple items on the test you're going to be measuring with paper clips and marbles, hands, things that differ from one person to the next. Your hand is a different size than my hand, so our measurements would be a little different too. So the first part of that test is going to be non-standard. Then we're going to shift to standard measurement. When you start with standard measurement, they're going to talk about meters and they're going to talk about centimeters, right? Remember, meters are quite large, centimeters are smaller. They're going to ask you to compare some of those measures. So here we have an apple tree that is 11 meters. We have a peach tree that's only 5. So if you think about those two numbers here, here is my 11. This is going to be my 11. And here is my 5. It's quite easy to figure out which one is taller or which one is shorter. The trickier part is when they say, hey, how much taller is it? And what they're talking about is they're talking about the difference between the tall one and the short one. That difference is always found when you take the whole thing minus or subtract the part you have, you will end up with this part. And that part is how much shorter or how much taller these items are from one another. So think about subtracting to find the difference. Okay, that's going to be on your test. You're going to do the same thing with centimeters, right? So we were talking about that with meters, but on the test you'll also have different lengths that you measure and different lines that you draw using centimeters. My little tip here is if I give you a ruler on the test, use my ruler on the paper, right? And then if I say on the test, use your own ruler, then you want to pick up yours. And the reason for that is because sometimes the paper isn't big enough to use a normal size ruler, so the computer screen or the tablet might actually shrink or expand depending on the one you're looking at home. So use the one I give you. It'll just make our answers more consistent. And then the last thing you're going to be asked to do is maybe work on a story problem, a real life kind of problem where someone is using measurement in their life. So here we have someone walking in the morning, they're walking in the afternoon. How much do they walk in all, right? And you see them measuring it in meters because they're walking a ways, right? They're walking for exercise probably. So this is what your test looks like. Oh, skip over the wrap up because we just did the wrap up. There we go. So remember, up at the top, you're measuring with marbles, the comb and the pen. Then you're going to measure with a ruler, non-standard, standard measurement. This one at the bottom gets a little tricky because they don't start at the 0. So they're asking you, can you still figure these out? On the back of the test, you're asked to use your own ruler, right? Maybe to draw a straight line. I think I'll put a ruler on the screen for you just in case you don't have one. Here, you don't have to measure anything. You can just think about these lines and which one might be the absolute shortest way to get from one side across to the other, and then why you think so. And then down here, you have to do a little comparing between drawing A and drawing B. Pretty easy stuff, and then I have a really fun math game for you on the next slide. So I hope you enjoy, and send me a great math test, please. Good luck.